You are now listening to T on One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you Inspire Our Podcast, your source for positive mental stimulation and good vibes, uplifting the world in support of peace, strength, wisdom, and faith. The information and resources on this podcast are based on the opinions of the host, unless otherwise noted. All information is intended to motivate, encourage, and inspire positive change and a healthier lifestyle. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and/or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. Welcome. I am your host, Tony Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Inspire Our Podcast, where we delve deep into topics that challenge us to reflect, grow, and find inspiration. Welcome to all my new listeners and all of my day ones. Today, I want to dive deep into a subject that warrants our collective attention, which is the spirit of greed and its impact on society. Now, when we talk about greed, there are so many different levels to greed. And it pretty much falls in every category you can think of. From home to work to church, like it has no bounds. And it can be very hurtful. Now, greed, often driven by an insatiable desire for more, has become a pervasive force in our world. It leads us to prioritize personal gain over the well-being of others and health of our planet. It all goes hand in hand. It's a mindset that focuses on accumulating wealth, possession, and power, often at the expense of others. But ask yourself, does this insatiable thirst for more truly bring us happiness and fulfillment? Or does it create a cycle of emptiness, isolation, and an erosion of our moral compass? Well, it's time to challenge and change that grip that the spirit of greed has on our lives and reevaluate our true priorities. When we succumb to the spirit of greed, we foster a society built on inequality and division. It widens the gap between the haves and have-nots, perpetuating social injustice and systemic disadvantages. Sad, but yet true. It can breed corruption, exploitation, and an erosion of trust within our institutions. The consequences ripple through our communities, making the poor poor, limiting access to resources, and stifling the potential of those already marginalized. But there is hope. Each one of us has the power to break free from the chains of greed and shape a more compassionate and equitable world. We can choose a path of abundance rather than scarcity, where success is measured not by material wealth, but the impact we have on others and the legacy we leave behind. Let this be a call to embrace the spirit of generosity, empathy, and collaboration. We can cultivate a mindset that values the well-being of all living beings, prioritizes sustainable practices, and empowers those in need by shifting our focus from acquiring to sharing. We've got this. We can do this. Collective. That's where it starts. Collective. Sustainable practices and empowers those in need. We create a society that celebrates the collective good and ensures the longevity of our planet for future generations. Isn't that the goal? Imagine a world where the successes of individuals are not measured solely by their bank accounts, but by the positive change they inspire in others. A world where kindness, compassion, and cooperation are the guiding principles that shape our actions. It starts with small steps, acts of selflessness, and giving that create ripples of change in our immediate circles and beyond. Let us remember the power of community and collaboration. Together, we can challenge the status quo, demand ethical practices, and advocate for an economic system that uplifts all individuals, allowing them to thrive without exploiting others or our planet. Our strength lies in unity, empathy, and a collective effort to dismantle the barriers that greed has erected. So, my friends, let us pledge to nourish the spirit of generosity within ourselves and inspire it in others. Let us rewrite the narrative, reminding ourselves and those around us that true wealth lies in the connections we forge, the impact we make, and the love we share. Again, greed and the spirit of greed is a perversive quality that has destroyed, fascinated. There are books about it, there are movies about it. There's so much history about it. And it has debilitated and corrupted individuals for years upon years. It's time. It is 2024. It is time to deal with all the different forms that exist. Materialistic, often driven by an insatiable desire for wealth and possessions that blinds people to the true value of relationships and experiences. Power-hungry greed, on the other hand, leads individuals to exploit others for personal gain and dominance. And then there's knowledge and attention. Can also be subject to greed as individuals hoard information and seek constant validation. However, it is crucial to encourage others to overcome the spirit of greed by cultivating a mindset of empathy, gratitude, and contentment. By embracing these qualities, we can transcend the allure of accumulation and instead focus on the tangible aspects of life that truly bring fulfillment and genuine happiness. Let's not be mistaken. Happiness is from within. Only we can do that. It starts first within. So let us strive to be agents of change, inspiring one another to desperately break free from the shackles of greed. It isn't helpful. It is not helpful. It is the compassion, it is the kindness, and the collective well-being. Truth is much more important. Truth. If there's a spirit of greed, let's deal with it. Deal with it. That's the first step. That's where the truth comes from. Saying, okay, there's greed. I have the spirit of greed, let's deal with it. You have the spirit of greed, let's deal with it. That is the first step. Again, it's not just about the material. It's about information, it's about attention. All those things, even with food. Like I say, there's from A to Z. Greed can be in there. And it is very unhealthy. And I implore all of you, let's deal with it. If not now, when? Tomorrow's gone. The past is gone. The present is going. We have the future to look forward to. Greed has no place. Let it die. Let it go away. Lay the spirit of greed to rest, so we may have something to look forward to. So again, my friends, let us pledge to nourish the spirit of generosity within ourselves and inspire it in others. Rewrite the narrative. Wealth lies in the connections we forge, the impact we make, and the love we share. And let's be honest, even if it is that love is rejected, that connection is rejected, push forward. Give that person time. And keep going. Live. Keep loving, keep learning, keep growing. And hopefully you have taken something today that you can work with, that is helpful. Our strength truly lies in unity. And yes, it is a collective effort. But we must dismantle the barriers that greed has erected. Here is this week's affirmation. Our affirmation for this week is, I release the grip of greed and embrace the spirit of generosity within me. I choose to live a life driven by compassion, empathy, and a desire to uplift others. I understand that true abundance comes from sharing, not hoarding. I am a beacon of generosity, spreading love and kindness to create a better world for all. Quote for the week. Our quote for this week is, Greed seeks to accumulate, but generosity seeks to uplift. In the act of giving, we discover the true richness of our hearts and the boundless potential to make a positive impact. Let us shift our mindset from acquiring to sharing, for in the spirit of generosity, we find joy, purpose, and the power to heal our world. You have been listening to Inspire Our Podcast by TN1 Radio, the talk show podcast station. Know that you are loved, cherished, and needed. So keep your head up and your heart light. Until the next time, have a blessed and productive week. I've been your host, Tony Williams. TN1 Radio Station listeners are awesome. Because of this, your voice is very important. Listeners are encouraged and welcome to call in live during a show or leave a message with your thoughts and opinions, whether it's the Sound Meditation Podcast, the Tony on One Podcast, the Sister Talk Podcast with Sister Such and Such, the Underground Podcast about music, or Inspire Our Podcast. We're trying to inspire the world. That's TN1 Radio. So listeners' voice is very important. So give us a call at 318-315-3586. Again, 318-315-3586. And voice your opinion. Hi guys, this is Tony on One. And I am here to tell you a little bit about my radio station. All shows are by TN1 Radio, the talk show podcast station. Shows are available anytime for download, play on demand, and they're on most of your podcast sites and or apps. Subscribe and hit the notification bell on YouTube. The name over there is Tony on One, as well as like, follow, and share on social media. We're on one. So tune in for raw, uncut talk.